Welcome at Ask the Professor. This is the last time on course C. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I did. And I'm really a small disappointment that there were no real questions for this Ask the Professor. So I will give some comments on the discussions you have. And I really encourage you to please go on with the discussion and exchange all the knowledge you have together. Because every student has really information which is valuable when you collect it together. And I think this is also the need for you to build and to work out these discussions together. So hopefully this will help. And let's see how we act going to an end of this course and going for the final case. But let's start and give some comments on the discussions. First discussion I like to discuss and also to comment on you was about the Hilversum case. I think it's really a nice example of how it works when there is a really accident, emergency, and then how to handle it. And every country has its own way of handling it, but I think in Holland, to make an example, it's not only the safety first of course, and therefore all the other steps are just behind the safety of course. Safety first, and then all the snowballs have to roll on. And I think that's exactly what you need, and you have to organize. So in Holland, for example, it's not only the national body who was concerned, but it also go back to the maintenance, to the contractors, to all people who are working on that spot, and even the suppliers and the design. Everything was make a transition to prevent this and never happen this again. I think that's exactly how to do the approach. And then you can say a system engineer has to have this system in his head, and also he has to know what steps we have to be making to make sure that everything is safe. So I think Hilversum was a really nice case. It makes the steps very clear what do we have to change so it will never happen again. I think that's exactly the right attitude to have a system approach as an engineer. Another nice discussion is really actual. It's about digitalization. It's easy to say, and everything we see it also now online, we have digitalization. And I think it's perfect, but how to implement it in a long run business like the railways. When you look at track or bridges, it's always a long run. It has a lifetime of 50 or 100 years. And how to change it? That's really a big question. It sounds easy from the technical perspective, or when you like to implement or to change it, but that's really an issue. How to make it happen? And I think that's exactly the case, to say, okay, when we like to change, we have to change it everywhere in the full system. And that takes time, because we have contracts. You cannot change contracts from one day to another. So mostly you need a transition to go from one system to another system. And that takes a lot of time. And sometimes it takes 10, 20 years. So you have to be patient. I think that's the only answer. And you have to find the right ways and a natural flow of processes, changing of contracts, changing of attitude or market or other contractors. That are the interfaces are the right spots to implement and to push. So when you like to push it only there when there is a need or a possibility for law by contracts and the interface. Another discussion is more or less in parallel with the other discussion, and that's about open sources, about data. Is it easy to open the data for everybody so we can benefit as a community from it? It sounds marvelous. I fully understand and I fully support, but that's the problem. It's not only what I feel, it's about how companies feel when they say, okay, I open all the data and put it, for example, in the newspaper or on the internet. Also, people will use that to gain from themselves, for other companies, or when you have competition, or when you have criminals, for example. So it's not easy to say, okay, this is nice data, we believe in only the good things of the society, and we trust that the society will help us in an efficient way. It's not that easy. So people are really a little scared to put this really open. And I think that's exactly why open data sounds nice, but how to make it happen is not that easy, because it's also depending on how safe it is, and do you really believe that all people around the world are really positive to use this to help each other. I think that's a balance. It's not easy to say what is the right way, but of course you can try and see and and challenge the public to help with certain problems. Why not? That's exactly what we do. We do a hackathon, for example, in Holland, and competitions with students to make a subject to discuss, and we provide some data to make it happen. So why not in your country? So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. I did not enjoy the weather, but you are safe home, and keep safe. Go on and don't worry about your final case. Just do the job, and when there is a need for feedback, feel free. Also feedback from your side to make it more attractive, or when there is not clear answers or lectures or parts of the lectures online, please give it back to us so we can make it better for the next generation. Why not? So for now, thank you a lot. Keep on going with the discussions, and much success with the final case. Good luck.